We saw Ella Lutzman win last night in the CSKMDL. And here's something crazy. Every race except the playoffs will not be live. Will not be live on regular TV. Welcome to the Great American Race. Once in 10 years, the Great American Race is under the sun, clear skies, sunshine. It is shining for the Great American Race. Let's go trackside. Race fans, if you're able to, please rise and remove your hats. Was Pelican performs your national anthem. And now let's see where your favorite drivers are starting. And now starting in that 1 sec. Starting in last. It's a 14 of Carson Cole. Starting 30th. It's a 45 with Nolan Vernango. 29th, 83 of Caitlin Healy. 28, we get to Scott Stauffer in the 60. 27th, Matthew Johnson in the 55. 26th, the rookie Abigail Ferguson in the 15. 25th, Raymond Green making his first Team Penske start in the 12. 24th, Ava Shipman in the 42. 23rd, and Savannah Call in the 18. 22nd, Nicholas Green in the 65. 21st, Emma Green in the 47. And 20th, we get to Leandro Ortega. And now, starting 19th, Erilyn Todd, number 22. 18th, Nancy Stauffer in the 1. 17th, Nathan Rockhill. 16th, Avery Shipley. 15th, Delilah Shipley. 14th, making her return in the Crazy Sportsman League, in the number 4, Pat Green. Starting 13th, Riley Scott. 12th, Madison Bowling. 11th, last year's champion, Bella Gillum. Starting in 10th, we get to Cameron Evans. 9th, Carson Healy. 8th, Raymond Cardell. 7th, Alexander Owens. 6th, we get to Jacob Spencer. 5th, Kyler Henry in his return. 4th, Teslina McElroy. 3rd, we get to Jenna Lucas. 2nd, Peyton McMahon, and on the pole, it's Chelsea Johnson. And now we're about ready to go green flag racing in season 23. Crazy, silly season. And we're underway in Texas. As we see crazy start on lap 1 as Jenna Lucas, the rookie. As the rookie of the year, Jenna Lucas takes the lead. Pat Green in the 4, falling back just a bit. She sits in 114 still. As Shipley and Rockhill is there. No wrecks that we can see. Johnson is there. And there's a wreck. Emma Green, Nathan Rockhill. Rockhill on pit road. Emma Green has crashed. As it's side by side for the lead. Johnson, Lucas with her new team, but not new in this league because she has raced for Groovy Motorsports before. Never in the Crazy Sports League. Rocco out of pit road. Kyler Henry in third. How about that? Nancy Soffren is on the move. Pat Green has dropped back. She's in 16th, and here comes Leandra Ortega. Her teammate, like in Pat Green Motorsports. Nick Green in the 65, trying to get back to victory lane. Can she win? Like for Green Shriner Racing. Ray Green has crashed as well. Ray Green hit the wall pretty hard, I think. As we see Pat Green trying to move through the field. Gillum, last year's champion, right in front. But in the lead, we get to Chelsea Johnson here in Texas. Carverdale right there, back in 5th. How about Owens? He's right there. There's a car out already. There's already a car out of the race. That's fun. What the heck happened? Kyler Henry 1 second, and he is fast. Pat Green right now sits in 14th. As we know how hard she's trying to move through the field, and here comes Abby Ferguson, the rookie. Green right there, almost three wide. Ferguson right there, right on the inside of Todd. Peyton, what happened? Peyton McMahon's out of the race. Peyton McMahon is out of the race already. Chelsea Johnson. Right there leads another lap as Henry trying to move forward when trying to take the lead. Pat Green sits back down when 15th. As we're watching Nick Green in the 65 for the first time in his career, like in the 65. Nick Green moving through the field when Jacob Spencer's old race car. McMahon out of the race. Green in front of Bowling in 14th, but about to drop back down to 15th maybe. Green. Nick Green is fast. And here in Texas, the Great American Race, Nick Green in front of Pat Green right now. Pat Green sits in 16th as Nick Green continues to drop back, as it's still Chelsea Johnson who leads. Johnson leads on to lap number 12, but here comes Raymond Carverdale. Carverdale and Healy moving through the field as well. Carverdale in third. has Carbondale won this race, but that was back a few seasons ago. Lucas moving through the field as well. Jacob Spencer in the 33 sure is fast. Carbondale back down to 4th already. Was now everybody sure is battling. Carbondale holds some cars up, and here comes Lucas was not the rookie of the year last year. It was this guy, Jacob Spencer. When this time he finally gets to race. When this time he gets to race against best of the best with the new team RTH Racing, Rock Hill Tanner Harley Motorsports. Little RTH Motorsports. And Spencer in the 33. On the move. He is in 3rd, but here comes Jim Lucas, with the Rookie of the Year runner-up last season, as the top 4 pull away. Where's Pat? Pat Green better not be in the top 10. Well, Pat Green is not in the top 10, that's what I know. Nick Green. Pat Green is now in 21st. Wow, Pat Green in her first race back, running in the back of the field. Good news is, she's not going to finish last. That's the really good news. Next week, we get to a new road course, and it is in Australia. Next week, we go to Australia. Battle for 2nd, Henry and Spencer. Henry's fast, but so is Jacob Spencer. Carson Healy is fast as well. Kyler Henry in his first race back as well, to the lead here in Texas. Kyler Henry looking to win in his first race back, but Chelsea Johnson with the Power Wheel Johnson Motorsports, she has a new teammate, and his name is Xander Faust. Faust is not racing this afternoon, but she is. But she is. Chelsea Johnson is racing, and how about another she that is moving through the field? Abigail Ferguson. Have a day. Have a rookie day indeed. Beginner's luck, I think. Abigail Ferguson sits in 9th here in the Great American Race. Could she win the biggest race of the year? You know what's great? Pat Green is now above the top 20. Now she's going after her teammate Leandro Ortega. Pat Green to 18th and is trying to move forward. As it's still Chelsea Johnson up front. Raymond Carville trying to fend off Avery Shipley. As Ferguson moves through the field, Cameron Evans in the 82 as well. Avery Shipley right there, and here comes the 15, like Abigail Ferguson, the rookie. And I have a feeling that we will be hearing a lot out of her this season. As the gap is staying the same. Like the top 4 are not battling, but Abigail Ferguson is battling in the top 10 and has a shot to win here in the Great American Race. Nolan Fernando doing badly right now. Pat Green trying to move forward as we see Scott Stoffman right in front of her. We have yet to see the big one, but we will see it as we see Henry trying to take the lead. And how about Tessalina McElroy? She's right there as well. And it looks like that Johnson Motorsports, Chelsea Johnson, has given herself a fast car. And we did see Nyla Litzman win in the CSKMDL last night. But before I tell you this, Kyler Henry, Chelsea Johnson, side by side for the lead, and out to turn 3 and 4. We saw Haley Duncan win last night, win the CSKMDL, which means she is in the playoffs. Johnson, Henry, door to door, as Henry tries to clear. And now down turn 1, he has the advantage, but not quite yet, as Johnson is good on the outside, and she's right there. But Kyler Henry takes the lead and clears. Kyler Henry out of 4. He's going to lead his first lap of the weekend in the 44. Great racing as Henry almost went around. Chelsea Johnson, very aggressive indeed. Riley Scott, no, that's not Riley Scott. That's not Riley Scott, that's Harley Myers in the 11. Harley Myers were having a great race back as well. That's not Riley Scott. I totally forgot that Myers was back in this league. Harley Myers moving through the field in the 11. How about the 18 as well? Man, you hear with the loud roars of the engines, Pat Green sits back in the pack in 22nd. Pat Green trying to have a great race, trying to have a great season as Henry leads. McElroy wins 3rd, but Spencer right on the outside, great run. Jacob Spencer great on the outside. And he tries to retake 3rd, but McElroy is there. And with the great run that Spencer has, he's going for 2nd on Chelsea Johnson. And now Johnson blocks Spencer, and here comes McElroy. Here comes Myers, and here comes Lucas as well. Myers now underneath Coverdale. Henry continues to lead here in the Great American Race. Can he win his first ever Texas 500? Raymond Green back down and wins 30th. Emma Green not doing good. Neither is Nathan Rockhill, although Rockhill is 33 seconds behind. And Pat Green gets into the wall. Why is that not surprising? Well, the most surprising thing was that she was able to save it, too. They were 3 wide. Now Pat Green, great runs back to Erin Todd, who did dominate most of the year last season and got eliminated round 1 in the playoffs. Pat Green sits back in 22nd. Caitlin Healy right behind. Matthew Johnson on the move. Great racing we'll hear from the Texas Motor Speedway. As Henry leads. Henry having a fast car. Spencer slides, almost goes around, but what is saved by the 33? What a save by Jacob Spencer in the 33. Pat Green back down in 25th. But don't feel bad, Pat Green fans, because Carson Healy, who did start up front, is also dropping back as well. I think Nick Green's fast too. Yeah, I think Nick Green's won 16th. Great racing from the Texas Motor Speedway on lap 33. We have not yet seen a crash happen. Kyler Henry, out of 4, leads onto lap 34. McElroy right there as well. We have yet to see the big one, but whenever the big one happens, that will start all the wrecks. Johnson kind of made a mistake. When she blocks Spencer, Myers gets the rear end with Jacob Spencer. But Spencer runs the outside. But look at the run that the 11 gets, but the 33 also gets a great run. Pat Green sits in 24th. Harley Myers to 3rd, back in the Crazy Sports Good League. 3 p.m. start time this afternoon. Wow. Wow. Well, these are loud roars of the engine. Pat Green already has some scuff marks on the nose of her race car when she's trying to move forward. Pat Green gets sideways, almost into the wall. Nick Green right in front. Cole right there as well. And now Ortega, Green, side by side. Pat Green will get passed by his teammate, Leandro Ortega. And right in front of them is Nick Green in the 65, who is having an okay day. There was a car that went around. And his name is Carson Healy. Carson Healy has fun. We see, that's funny, as we see Henry leads here in the Texas 500 on lap 38. And Carson Healy is now on pit road. Nolan Fernando right there as well. Pat Green, Nick Green, side by side. Now this should be a fun battle. Now to turn 1, Nick Green has the outside, but Pat Green has the inside. Pat Green almost makes Nick Green wreck. Bowling now going after Nick Green, but Green is still there. Bowling there as well. Pat Green going after Ortega. Great racing in Texas. Great racing in the back of the field, as we've seen so many hold-ups in the back of the field as well. But up front, there's no hold-up, as it's Kyler Henry who leads in the Great American Race. We almost saw a wreck unfold, and Pat Green, with an aggressive move, moves into 15th in that 4 car. And it looks like that Pat Green in the 4 is starting to come to life just a bit. Yes, she is come to life. Where was the speed at the beginning of the race? Pat Green moving through the field side by side for 14th. She will take it away from Avery Shipley as they both did make contact. Bowling and Todd right there, right behind. Pat Green. I think I know where her speed came from. Her speed came from the inside, and it does once again. Pat Green continues to be strong here in Texas, moving through the field. She's in 13th. Now Savannah Call right behind. Pat Green tries to hold her up, and now Pat Green does have the outside now and travels down to the inside. Nancy Soffren right in front as well. That's her teammate. Pat Green racing for her own team, Pat Green Motorsports, having a great race. I'm not having a great race. She's having an up and down day here in Texas. Jenna Lucas, she's come to life as well. She's in second. Pat Green now back down to 15th, but was side by side with Avery Shipley. Pat Green having a hard time trying to move through the field, as we see Shipley really moving through the field as well. Avery Shipley did drop down just a bit early in the race, but she gained all those spots back up as we see Nick Green trying to move forward as well. He's in 20th. Pat Green blocks the run by Erin Todd. Delilah Shipley not having a great race either. How about Scott Stofford right now? Sits in 11th. Where did Scott Stofford come from? That's my question. Pat Green there in 14th. She wants 13th. And now 11th. Pat Green now in 11th. No, now in 12th. As Stoffren gets around her. And Call is once again going after Green, but she can't pass her, not quite yet, and now she does. Savannah Call gets around Pat Green. Coverdale trying to move through the field as well. Coverdale in the top 10. Now Raymond Coverdale does have a fast car. Pat Green in her first race back in the cash now number 4 sits in 13th as she got into the wall just a bit. And here comes Bowling. Nick Green having an okay day. Johnson is there as well. He gets around him, same as Carson Cole. But back up front comes to lap 50, like a 334 laps. Well, when whoever is watching this goes to bed soon, I'm not gonna be surprised, since this race is on for a long time. Chelsea Johnson wanting to retake third and does. Savannah Call moving through the field in 8th. Raymond Coverdale sits in 6th. Pat Green sits in 14th. Going after Nancy Stoffren, and she will pass her. And we see Delilah Shipley also moving through the field. She gets around Pat Green. Crazy pack racing in the back, like the middle of the field. Pat Green in the middle between Scott Stoffren and Nancy Stoffren, and Scott Stoffren is now moving through the field. Where in the world did Scott Stoffren come from? That speed out of the 60 came out of nowhere, and Nick Green was gaining some speed just a bit. As Jenna Lucas leads here in the Great American Race, the 10's back up front, the Gart number 10 looking to win her first career race. Can she do it on the biggest stage, in the biggest race, in her second full-time start? It's not sold out because it's very warm out, but this is the highest TV rating that we've had. The highest TV rating ever here in the Crazy Sports Good League, live on TV. Pat Green falling back. She sits in 16th as Nick Green sits in 19th. Nancy Stoffren has fell back as well. Pat Green Motorsports 16th, 17th, and 18th. Pat Green Motorsports, they're showing us some bursts of speed. Then after their bursts of speed, their cars slow down. As it's still Jenna Lucas who leads in the Great American Race. And Raymond Caldwell sits in 5th. And how about Jacob Spencer? He wants 5th again. Spencer right there. Alex Owens as well. How about Alex Owens having a great race this afternoon? Battle for the lead. It's Lucas. It's Henry. About to be side by side. We have not yet seen a big crash yet. As Leandro Ortega is moving through the field. Stoffren, Green, side by side. Bella Gillum, last year's champion, back down like in 26. She's not having a great run as Henry's back up front here in Texas. Chelsea Johnson gets a great run and she wants to retake 3rd away from Tesselina McElroy. How about this battle for the top 10 spot? Ferguson battling up there as well. Abby Ferguson having a great race. Ferguson, great race going so far. And there's a 70. Shipley. There's Stoffren. There's Pat Green in 18th. Nick Green up against the wall as Erlen Todd just put him in the wall. And I hope Erlen Todd wrecks really hard. But not get injured, because that would be sad. We saw 2 injuries that caused drivers to lose their rides last year. Haley Duncan and Kendall Homan. Connor Jones will be racing full-time in the 19 this year. Carverdale in the top 5. Lap 60 with 334. 334 laps. There should be a commentating break coming up pretty soon. But when we do the commentating break, you will not miss a thing, as we will be right along with Pat Green, who is in the back of the field right now. Pat Green sits in 15th. Kyler Henry leads. Now comes to lap 62. There's Pat Green. And Pat Green does have the roof cam. Call up against the wall. Almost goes around. You are watching the Great American Race presented by Cash Now, the official sponsor of Pat Green and Pat Green Motorsports. Don't go anywhere, but the Great American Race is just getting started. late chaos. And Pat Green, who's on pit road, was just in third. And Nolan Vernango is fast. Todd leads here in the Great American Race until lap 214. I am going to try to commentate for the rest of the race. Pat Green quickly coming out. But how about the king? Nicholas Green in the top 10 in ninth. And Pat Green is now going to take fifth away. Pat Green still in the top 5. We've seen lots of chaos already. Like with Raymond Carbondale and others. We've seen Raymond Carbondale wreck. Cave in fourth. He's led some laps. Let's check out with a top 3 real quick. It's Erlen Todd, Nolan Vernango, and Harley Myers. Nango and Myers no hood as Carbondale gets passed by Pat Green. With Vernango and Myers pit, Pat Green will be taking second away. It's a 34-second advantage for Erlen Todd on lap 217 as the sun winds down behind the racetrack. So we've seen a lot of wrecks late in this one. Late in the going, we've seen so many wrecks in that. But Pat Green. But there was a question: who would win? The chaos at Texas or Pat Green? Pat Green. That's what people have been saying. And that Rex takes some of the best contenders out. Like those Rex took Spencer out of contention. That took Lucas out of contention. Johnson's been out of contention the whole day, so Gillum was out of contention. But with all the chaos that's been happening, we would not be surprised to see Nick Green get a win in the Great American Race. Now that will be the biggest win of his career. Erlen Todd now continues to lead in the Great American Race. Nolan Vernango trying to pick up his first win since his championship a few years ago. As there's no more sun on the front stretch. Nango is behind the 22, but is still a lap down. Pat Green just a couple laps down. Back there in fourth. Carbondale right behind her. Battle for fourth is on. Carbondale versus Pat Green. Pat Green actually having a fast car for once. Pat Green passes the 18, and the 63 does as well. Fast cars for both the 4 and the 63. As well, we know that there will be one short commentating break coming up. Erlen Todd in the Archie Jeans 22 continues to lead. There's another big crash, and Pat Green's not involved in it. Raymond Carbondale, huge hit, is involved in that one. Owens flips. Oh, and the big one, and another big one happens on the front straightaway when everybody keeps piling in. Erlen Todd, Pat Green right there. Holy cow, Ava Shipman gets hit hard. Man, this is going to be close. This is going to be great. Pat Green navigated her. How in the world did Pat Green navigate through that wreck? Pat Green left that wreck with no damage. That's just luck. Almost everybody is this. Wow. Bella Gillum is completely destroyed. That 70 car sure is destroyed. A lot of cars were caught up. Todd slow on the outside. Pat Green somehow did not get caught up in that one. Savannah Call hitting the back of the 51. There may be another wreck. Man, Erin Todd making it 3 wide, trying to get around with these very slow cars. And she is navigating through them, but barely. We've seen so many crashes late in this one, and right now, Erin Todd leads the field. And Pat Green still has no damage at all. How is that even possible with a Pat Green? Okay, man, Harley Myers got destroyed. A lot of drivers got destroyed. Raymond Cardell got destroyed. A lot of fast cars got destroyed in that one. Harley Myers definitely got destroyed. We are going to see more and more wrecks before the race is over. Myers not coming to pit road. This could potentially be bad for her. And we did see Ava Schumann, I think, flip. Alex Owens flipped, and he's still in the race. So we've seen so many flips today. But the cars that flipped, but most of the cars that flipped are still in the race. Shipley is coming. Look at Abigail Ferguson in her first career start in the Crazy Sports Good League in the top 6. No damage whatsoever on the number 4. Pat Green is having some luck in this one. Almost everybody got out of that one. But once I heard those cars wrecking, I was like, oh, there's another wreck. But then I was like, oh, Pat Green's going to be involved. And then Pat somehow escaped those. Erin Todd leads here at the Texas Motor Speedway. But even with no hood, Nolan Vernango sure is fast. That's the only damage she has. No hood for the 45. Savannah Call still on the racetrack. Man, so when that last wreck happened, that changed everything. I mean, Pat Green is in 3rd right now. Harley Myers 4th, 5th, Abigail Ferguson. Raymond Cardell out after all those wrecks is out of the top 5. Almost goes around again as Rock Hill makes contact with him. Well, even one slight contact could send you around late in this one. Pat Green has surprisingly had all the luck. I mean, let me tell you. Well, Pat Green, she is in third right now. She has had all the luck, has not wrecked in a while. But when the last big wreck happened, cars were piling up right in front of her, and she somehow drove through the wreck without getting damage. And that means Pat Green is having a lot of luck this afternoon. Erlen Todd as well. Nolan Vernango in second, 11 seconds back. But Pat Green, 31 seconds back in second, and is closing the gap. Can Pat Green win here at the Texas Motor Speedway? And Carbondale almost made the 22 wreck. If that happened, that would have been huge. And the 45 sitting there in second. Pat Green continuing to run in third. Have a day, Pat Green. The reason why I'm quiet right now is because I'm about to say something that I'm pretty sure that all of you are saying. Where in the world did Caitlin Healy come from? Caitlin Healy is in fifth, apparently. Carson Healy is in sixth. Healy Motorsports, fifth and sixth. That's funny. Have a rookie day. Afternoon, good afternoon, Abigail Ferguson in seventh. Abby Ferguson in her first career start in the top 10, and that's just luck. Scott Stauffer in eighth, ninth Nathan Rocco, and 10th I think. Yep, it's Chelsea Johnson. Man, crazy racing here from Texas. And Pat Green. I know all you Pat Green fans are happy that I'm saying this, but your favorite driver, Pat the Closer Green, is back on the lead lap. And now it's a 3-second lead for Erlen Todd over Nolan Vernango. There's going to be another wreck. I can sense it. I can sense another wreck. Pat Green, 21 seconds back, but is on the lead lap. She could potentially have a huge upset and win the Great American Race with less than 100 to go. On lap 239, look at 334. It's now a 1 second advantage for Erlen Todd, and Pat Green is closing in on the leaders. She's 19 seconds back. And closing 18 seconds back. This may be the first and only time we will see Pat Green actually having some luck this year. Lady Luck just decided. Lady Luck just decided to tell Pat Green. But to tell Pat Green, although she sucks, she can still do good. Although this isn't lucky at all. Gillum slows Pat Green up and she speeds back up. Battle for the lead. Erlen Todd, Nolan Vernango. And it's still a 17-second lead and closing. Pat Green's most likely going to win this one. Pat Green 16 seconds back and closing. This cash now number 4 sure is fast. 2 cars stuck on pit road. Cameron Evans and Matthew Johnson. Evans and Johnson. Oh my goodness. This is bad. That's bad for both of them, as now heavy traffic and Pat Green to get a great run. 13 seconds back and closing. But she is closing in on a very big pack that could slow her up or make her get into the wall. And Nick Green is as well in this pack as well. Pat Green sees off her former driver, Jim Lucas, and Pat Green somehow made it 3 wide and somehow managed to pass that pack of cars. How in the world was Pat Green having most of the luck right now? And you can see on the track map that those 2 white dots, those are Erlen Todd when Nolan Vernago. That means that Pat Green is on the lead lap and is closing in on the leaders. But this very big pack could slow her up. Pat Green 12 seconds back. But if you are just now joining us, if you're wondering why I'm saying that Pat Green's 12 seconds back and is having a chance to win, well, because she is. Pat Green has had all the luck so far this afternoon. 13 seconds back when Pat Green somehow there was a big wreck earlier right in front of the leaders. Carville, he was leader. He got involved in that one. Pat Green 2 times in a row managed to escape those wrecks. And then once she passed the 22 once again, she was able to get back on the lead lap. And now just 12 seconds back, and with clean air in front of her, she can run them down. Pat, the closer Green, is on the move. 12 seconds back, but up front, it's Erlen Todd and Nolan Vernago. Since these 2 cars are also catching with some slow cars, that should help Pat Green as well. So offering one of the slow cars that Pat Green will have to face as well. 10-second lead over Pat Green for the leaders. Cameron Evans, Matthew Johnson stuck on pit road, comes to lap 250. Carson Healy in the top 10. Gets passed by the fast number 4. Man, Nolan Vernago sure is getting slowed up here by Bella Gillum, and here comes Pat Green. And this is going to help Pat Green. She's 2 seconds back from second place, Nolan Vernago. Still 2 seconds back, but she is in heavy slow lap traffic. But like usual, she is getting around that nice and smooth. She is 5 seconds back from the leader, and is closing in on once she passes Ava Shipman. This should put her in the best spot possible to maybe win this one. Lap 250 is on the board. Pat Green about to get around with a 42. Pat Green puts a 42 into the wall. When this is going to slow her up just a bit, but she's still 3 seconds back. As the leaders are catching slow cars. Pat Green 3 seconds back and has cleared those cars, and now she has clean air, and the cars that are now in front of Pat Green are the leaders. Pat Green closing in 2 seconds back is the closer. And in her first start back, after taking a 1-year break, Pat Green will maybe having the cleanest car in the race right now, 1 second back, and it's there. Pat Green has made it. Now the question is, will Pat Green be able to take the lead? Pat Green is going to take second place. There's a lot of Pat Green fans in the stands and watching this one. And now Pat Green fans are on their feet. Erlen Todd in the lead. Pat Green in second. Nango in third. Slow car, well, that's Ferguson. Todd makes contact. 3 wide. Oh man, almost a wreck right there. Pat Green behind Erlen Todd. And now the battle for the lead is not Todd and Nango. It is Todd and Pat Green. Pat Green is somehow in second on the lead lap. And now down turn 1. She's there. All the Pat Green fans are on their feet. Nick Green better be worried. Carson Healy better be worried. Because they have a driver that may be taking with the most popular driver award away from them, and her name is Pat Green. Pat Green having a ton of fans down here in Texas. A lot of Pat Green fans. And Pat Green started to gain most of her fans back last year, like in the CSKL, when they are now here. She's gained fans from all around the world, and they somehow got a ticket to this race, and they are here watching their favorite driver, Pat Green, battle up front. The battle for the ages. Todd, Vernango, Pat Green. 3 veterans. 1 2-time champion. And that is Pat Green. Pat Green looking for her 3rd championship. Could she make history this year and be the first driver to get 3 championships in a single career? Caitlin Healy, 5th. 6th, Scott Sofrin. 7th is Carson Healy. Oh, we almost saw another wreck. We are going to see another wreck, and that's not a lie. And Pat Green. First I thought Pat Green had heavy damage. I don't know if she does or not. No, she does not, but Pat Green 2 seconds back. And now she is running the leaders down again. Pat Green 1 second back. But earlier in the race, when she started to come to life, that is when I knew that Pat Green was legit. When I knew that Pat Green was going to be a threat at the end of this one. And right now she is showing up on lap 261. Pat Green maybe beating the chaos when pulling an upset to get her first career Great American Race win. This would be Pat Green's biggest victory. Erin Todd looking for her 4th Great American Race win. She is so good in this race, and right now she leads. Pat Green, Nolan Vernango still chasing their first Texas 500 victory. Todd's chasing her 4th. How about Myers? They're in 4th as well. Harley Myers, dang, in her first race back in 4th. And I can tell you who was out of the race. Kyler Henry led a lot of laps in the beginning, and now is out of the race. This is gonna get good. Gillum, slow car, in front of Todd, Vernango, and Green. Healy, lap car, right in front of Pat Green. Pat Green gets around that and tries to get around those cars smoothly, but she's now 2 seconds back from the lead, as it's still Erin Todd who leads in the Great American Race. Right now, Erin Todd has the car that no one can pass. Cameron Evans, Matthew Johnson are officially out of the race. Savannah Call up against the wall. And Pat Green has closed back in. And they are catching with a large pack with slow cars. And who's going to escape this pack? The leader, as the leader. Probably Erin Todd. But she gets slow. She gets in a 3-wide mess. Nango and Pat Green does as well. Contact made with her teammate Leandro Ortega. Pat Green goes down and blocks the 60. Bowling hits the wall. Pat Green comes out nice and clean. As it's still the Archie Jeans 22 who leads here on lap 267. Don't go anywhere. This is the shortest commentating break, and Pat Green both has the roof cam and the bumper cam. We will be right back. a huge pack of cars and a new leader. And her name is Pat Green. Has the lead at the Texas Motor Speedway. But for how long? Erin Todd sits in third, trying to take second back, but she can't, not quite yet. Pat Green cleanly gets around Bella Gillum. Nolan Vernango, his chances of winning the Great American Race are over. I think. Not Bella Gillum. Erin Todd, Nolan Vernango, both on pit road. And Pat Green puts them more than a lap down. Well, actually, I think Pat actually does put them one lap down. Nango stuck on pit road. This could potentially be disastrous for Nolan Vernango. And he's not coming out. Pat Green puts Nango another lap down. And Caitlin Healy may be getting a podium finish, as it's Pat Green who leads the Great American Race right now. Erin Todd 34 seconds back. But is a lap down. And she's going to be right behind Nolan Vernango, unless she passes him here or on the or on turn 1 and 2, which is a very big possibility. I don't think she can pass Nango because he's right there. That's going to slow both of them up. Pat Green on lap 281 continues to lead. Carson Healy, the other slow car, right there. It's Pat Green. Just think, Erin Todd has to drive through this heavy lap traffic as well. This could potentially hurt Erin Todd the most, not Pat Green. Pat Green somehow leading the race. And she somehow gets through that three wide in front of them, and that somehow works. And that is slowing Erin Todd up. 31 seconds back. Now she's starting to pass some cars. But she's going to be behind some more slow cars. Man, she made a 3-wide pass. One Nick Green, one Bella Gillum. And how in the world was Nick Green in the top 10? Tell me how. Tell me. Right now. How in the loving world is Nick Green actually in the top 10? I don't know how, but Nick Green is actually in the top 10. Pat Green on lap 284 continues to lead to lap 285. Erin Todd right behind. She is a lap car looking to get her lap back. and then maybe have a chance to win the Great American Race. Is this going to be a comeback for the number 22? Erlen Todd pitted last time by. Erlen Todd did pit. Pat Green has not pitted in a long time. Pat Green hasn't pitted in a while. But that's good, because that means that Pat Green has stayed out of trouble, and right now she's staying out of trouble with the 22. And the battle for 10th heats up as Raymond Carbondale. No damage, Nick Green, no hood. Carbondale versus Green right there. Todd now will have the inside, and she will get her lap back, and Carbondale will get 10th. And now Raymond Carbondale back into the top 10 as Pat Green gets passed by him. And the good thing for Pat Green is that the 22 still has to be in heavy lap traffic. So yeah, when there are, and there's a big pack with slow traffic coming up, that could potentially hurt them. Now, Gillum is a very slow car. She is slowing Erlen Todd up. And that may put Pat Green in the best spot to put the 22 back a lap down. Pat Green around the inside. Great run by the 4. Gillum gets passed by the 22 and about to get passed by the 4. Maybe not with the 4 still stuck in this slow traffic. Pat Green's had enough, and Ningo has had enough with Pat Green. Lap 290 is on the board. It's still, it ain't over till it's over, because Erlen Todd, who's on the lead lap, could potentially win here in the Great American Race. But come to lap 291, it's not over yet. Pat Green has not yet solidified with her win yet. All she needs to do was cross the front straightaway. Was cross the start finish line with the checkered flag waving. You saw Pat Green get sideways there. She is having a hard time right now, as people are making her loose. And Erlen Todd is closing in, but the battle is not over yet. Pat Green could potentially pull away. 17-second lead for Pat Green over Erlen Todd. See, Erlen Todd is in clean air, but Pat Green is not. She's in very slow traffic. Abigail Ferguson, she's very slow. Who the heck's in 6th? That's Nathan Rockhill. Where did Nathan Rockhill come from? I'm sorry for that voice crack. See the traffic belts behind Pat Green? Well, that's the traffic that Erlen Todd's gonna have to hit soon, too. Could there be a wreck on the final 30 laps? If there is, that could potentially end Pat Green's chances, like winning the Great American Race, or it could end Erlen Todd's chances. As Todd quickly gets around those cars, trying to quickly get around those cars, but she couldn't quickly get around them, as it's still a 15-second lead. Scott Stoffren, the good news is that Scott Stoffren does not have any more damage. Bad news is he may get some pretty soon. Lap 295, 40 laps to go for Pat Green. As cars are still ganging up on Pat Green, the leader. You can see how hard Pat Green is driving. She wants to win the Great American Race. She really does want to win this race. But I don't think she will, because Erlen Todd's just too fast and is coming quickly. But Pat Green leads on lap 296. Could Pat Green potentially get to victory lane to win in her first race back in the number 4? There was a lot of questions entering the season, when the biggest one was when and if and when will Pat Green win? Two big questions were, will Pat Green win? When the second question is, and the second question was, when will Pat Green win? And right now, if she wins the first race of the year, the Great American Race, everybody would be so shocked. This could be an upset. Pat Green could upset the whole field by winning this race. Ortega, no hood. And this is slowing with a 22 up. And this traffic that's in front of the 22 is holding her up. She's 8 seconds back. And Pat Green actually had to deal with this too. 8-second lead. Pat Green was able to pull away. But Erlen Todd, though, is closing back in. Now that traffic will still be a factor near the end of this one. Near the end of this one. A 7-second lead for Pat Green on lap 300. Pat wants to win. 35 to go, and now coming to 34 laps to go. Out turn 4. 34 laps of racing left, and Erlen Todd's just 6 seconds back. Great racing here from the Texas Motor Speedway. 5-second lead for Pat Green over Erlen Todd. But Erlen Todd is in heavy lap traffic indeed. Lap 302 is on the board. If Pat Green wrecks, that would end her chances of winning the Great American Race. As you see the Ford in the cash now, as you see Pat Green in the cash now number 4, and they are catching very, very slow lap traffic. This could potentially hurt both Todd and Green. Man, this is gonna get good. 1 second lead on lap 303 for Pat Green. Pat Green now getting through this cleanly. And contact made with Rockhill. Todd back up front here in Texas. But Todd's gonna get slow once again. Now the race for the win is on. Pat Green right there once again. Some clean air. And is closing in 30 laps. She's right back to the rear end like of Erin Todd. Look how fast the 4 is. Now that lap traffic, like we were just in, they factor before the race is over. And that could mean that Pat Green could potentially win this one. When that big pack may cause another big pack to form. When the slow lap cars would hurt Erin Todd, the leader, who is in clean air right now on lap 306, who's looking for her fourth ever Great American Race win, trying to hold off the closer. Pat Green, this may be the hardest that Pat Green has seen. Did wreck, and she did get airborne. But this crowd is so electric. In season 23, had some returning faces: Harley Myers, Pat Green, and Kyler Henry. Old faces, new rides: Nick Green in the 65 and others. But the reason why I'm not going to tell you that because the race is getting down to the nitty gritty. Pat Green really wants to win. She has second. And they are closing in on very slow cars once again. When the slow car that's in front of them, that's Abigail Ferguson. Now let's see how well these two navigate through the 15. The 22 kind of gets slowed by the 15, and the 4 will be getting slowed. Here comes the 45. Pat Green stuck in the middle. Green getting past. All over. 2-second lead for Erin Todd. Things are getting out of hand for the number 4. I don't think anybody wants to let the 4 win, but the 22 is getting held up, and Pat Green is there, and Gillum with his 74. Gillum just held the 22 up. That's huge. Todd on the outside. Man, this is huge. Pat Green was saying in her head, how in the world am I back in contention? She was just 2 seconds back, and now she's 3/10 back. 19 laps to go in the Great American Race. Nancy Stoffman's slow car in front. Gonna slow both Todd and Pat Green down. Pat Green inside, and she's gonna get by the 1 quickly. Pat Green's back up front in Texas. And now out of turn 4. 18 laps to go in the Great American Race. And Nolan Vernango, that lap car, battling with the 22. Man, Pat Green really is in dire need for something good to go her way. As once the 22 came back to life, and she's been hard to beat. Now here comes Todd down to the inside, but she can't close in quite enough to take the lead. As we have 17 laps to go, comes to 16. The laps winding down quickly here in Texas. 16 laps to go. Erin Todd having the inside, Pat Green outside. She will quickly lose the lead. Erin Todd back up front with 16 to go. Now comes to 15 to go. But the bad thing is that they are starting to catch up to the slower lap traffic, to very slow lap traffic. And that's going to help Pat Green out. 15 to go here in Texas. Very slow lap traffic ahead. And that could potentially, and when that will make or break Pat Green's chances to win this race. Here's a lap car. It's Bella Gillum. Last year's champion is a lap car. And the 22 makes contact. But Pat Green gets slowed because of the 74. She now needs a miracle. But the 22 is catching some more lap traffic. Why think the 4 is now done with the 74? Man, the 22 quickly got around the 1. Man, a lot of slow traffic indeed. And the 83 is fast. She's a lap car. Pat Green is not. She's in second. Pat Green 2 seconds back because of her teammate slowing her down. Nancy Stauffer and Pat Green's teammate, I don't think, wanted Pat Green to win this one. Abigail Ferguson in front of the 22. Ferguson down to the inside. Oh man, that was close. Pat Green is closing once again. Kaylin Healy, she is a very fast lap car. She could do something. She could pull something off to help Pat Green. Maybe not. Pat Green in second. 11 laps to go in the Great American Race. Caitlin Healy. She's a lap car. She's right behind Erin Todd. And Pat Green is closing. And they are closing in like on very slow car when they're closing in on Bella Gillum once again. 10 laps to go in Texas. Healy inside, gets to Todd. Pat Green there. And now, Pat Green back to the outside. Pat Green knows. Pat Green knows now that she needs to be aggressive. Like for her to win this one. Same as Erin Todd. Although Pat Green got slow, they are catching some slow lap cars. 9 laps to go. They are catching slow lap cars like Bella Gillum when those other ones. It is evening. The sun is going down. It's Pat Green going to bring back the sunshine here in Texas and in her career. Pat Green behind Erin Todd. Man, this is nuts. Todd. Pat Green. Big battle for the win of the Great American Race. When in front, that's Carson Healy. Is he going to help Erin Todd or hurt Erin Todd? He's probably going to help Erin Todd, like usual. He may help both Todd and Pat Green, and it looks like that he's going to help both of them. Was Pat Green trying to close back in And it's going to get back around the 27. There's a wreck. One, turn 3 and 4. There's a wreck on turn 4. Pat Green closing back in on lap 239. On lap 229. Coming to 5 laps to go. There's the car. Way on the outside. Up against the wall. 25 cars left. Things are getting down to the nitty-gritty. 5 laps to go at the Texas Motor Speedway. Pat Green is there. Erlen Todd, Pat Green, 1 and 2. They're catching one more slow car until the race ends. Pat Green, oh man, great drive by the 4. Around the 15, they may catch another one before the race ends. I don't know. 4 laps to go. Pat Green there, inside, big move. Back up front goes the closer. Pat Green, 4 laps to go. Reed takes the lead, but here comes Erlen Todd again. And now they are quickly catching with a slow car. I think a Bella Gillum. 3 laps to go in the Texas 500. Pat Green's like, okay, Erlen, I want you to pass me so that you can get slowed up by the cars in front of us. Pat Green, Erlen Todd getting slowed by both Gillum and Sofrin. And this is huge. Comes to 2 laps to go. And I knew that both these cars would have something to do at the end of this race. 2 laps to go in Texas. Todd's there. And now when they cross the line, it'll be 1 lap to go. Can Pat Green hang on? This is back to victory lane, and Nick Green comes home in his first race in the 65 in 9th. Top 10 for the King. McMahon finishes it. Wow, okay. Kyler Henry decided to finish in 30th. Man, what a race indeed. It was Pat Green getting to victory lane when there was a technical issue so that you guys couldn't see the finish, but that was no matter. But it was Pat Green finally winning a race. It's Pat Green in victory lane in Texas. Thanks for watching the Great American Race. And